my take on real quick on WWE's the one particular is the Pope had a more epic exit than Travis Scott
Hey,
made an entrance. I'm just saying, and I'm talking great about the Pope because he was my Pope. May his soul rest in peace.
I'm so used to just yelling something stupid to start the show.
But isn't it?
He said that so calmly.
And listen, I'm not even shitting on Travis Scott. You know, I like Travis Scott. You know, a 4x4, right? That's his track. I'm a fan. But
Right.
I wanted more. I wanted to see more. You know, than just And if you look at, he's a terrible actor. You know, Cody Rhodes getting him in the headlock, and he just submitted. You know, he was. I mean, if you watch it,
look at the size of the guy. Look at the size of Cody. What do you really think he was gonna do?
I mean,
anyways, what he's trying to say is the Pope had a better exit to life than Cody Rhodes had an exit to Mania. Welcome everybody to Hot Tag Takes.
Absolutely.
Here on HamiltonRadio.net channel HR2. I am your host John BRECKO. To my left is the guest host Ralphie Rotten. Ralph
yes,
Cologne.
Sir.
How you
Good
feeling,
to be here.
bro?
Good to be here, buddy.
Yeah, man. No, I usually this man, you ask him to host, and usually he's like on the fence and then ends up heading out. Today was just an immediate yes. This was meant to be, and we are about to have a fantastic show. If you guys haven't figured out already, we're going to be talking about WrestleMania. We could even talk about the Raw after as well if we have time. You know, my opinion on last WrestleMania this past weekend, it was good. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't terrible. It was good. Like, there was some highlights of the show. There was some stuff that I wish I got a little bit more out of it. But overall, I had a fun time watching Mania. It was a good show.
I don't think it'll be we won't be drinking beers 20 years from now and saying, "Damn, do you remember that one WrestleMania when Travis Scott made the entrance?"
Nah, it was okay.
But you know what I'm saying? We're not gonna be talking like oh, you remember the Hell in a Cell with Undertaker and Foley?
It's not on that same level.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people are still talking about the Hell in a Cell.
But at the same time, it could have been WrestleMania 9, bro. Like,
it could have.
You know,
I mean,
like there's levels to this. There's levels to what it could have been. Some of them are down here. Some of them are down here. WrestleMania 41 was right about here. It was nice.
I mean, I guess they
mind
can't give you everything in one night. Basically.
No.
You know what I'm saying? That's why they had the whole.
That's why we're gonna talk about the Raw after Mania as well, because some shit went down.
It was a whole weekend, right? It was a whole 2-3 day events, right?
Some shit went down on Raw after Mania.
Well, let's talk
I don't know
about,
if you know what went down.
Let's
but
talk
we'll
about
talk about it. Mania first,
about it.
then that. But anyways, I am very, very excited to have this guest on. He is a wrestling fan. He is an anime fan. He is a stand-up comedian in the city as well. Very, very excited to have this man on. There is so much shit that I could probably chop it up with this man about, especially because I just got into solo leveling and I looked through your Instagram a little bit. But ladies and gentlemen, everybody give it up for Kyle Lewis!
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
What's up?
What a reaction.
It's like Ricardo Rodriguez in 2011 out here. How we doing?
Right.
How we feeling?
Hopefully I don't end up like Alberto, but I'm feeling
feeling
good. There's not many podcasts that I would do that would stop me from watching Roxanne Perez versus Stephanie Foucault, but this is one of them.
Listen, I gotta tell you something. I saw the move Booker T damn near has a heart attack to every time Stephanie Foucault does it, and I just watched that, and I think like I was dead for a couple of seconds. Like, I understand why he's reacting the way he's reacting to it. So, like, normally Booker T just says some off-the-wall stuff that makes no goddamn sense. But me and him were on the same wavelength for about 10 to 15 seconds as I was watching that. Nobody's trying to get that Booker D, though, so stop playing out here. Let's be real about that.
But he has his wife, so hopefully they are having a great relationship still after all those years. But I posted that to my story when it happened at Hammerstein, and I
Right.
believe it's the most watched story that I've had like in my years of Instagram.
Yeah.
I posted an assault. I got assaulted a couple months ago,
Oh
and I
shit.
think that video has more likes than my actual like physical like, hey guys, I'm in trouble. So
Hey
it
guys, I
shows
just got fucked up recently.
exactly, but everyone's like, hey, you know what's great? That move. So I'm glad Stephanie Vicur has fans all
no,
over
but
my feed.
no, but are you good now? Are you good now? We got to check in
Yeah,
on you.
yeah, it was fine. It wasn't fine at the time. Just a cheap shot, but doing okay. Could be a lot worse.
Just a random dude. It just made no sense.
Made no sense. I was going to do comedy. He just got up while on the train, just got up listening to music. Just got up, boom, and left. And I was
So
like, what the? I never saw a hit and transfer before, but I was the first. Didn't even give me the courtesy of a hit and run, so that was a little annoying. But
yeah, like just sitting
here.
there makes no damn sense.
yeah, like leave, like run, so I don't, like whatever.
Yeah,
I'm
like get the
here.
fuck out of
I
here. What are
can-
you doing?
I can see, so that's great.
Nah, but
Yeah, hit in transit. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's the
hit and
first I've ever.
transfer.
New
I
York,
went to-
obviously. New York is always. New York is
He-
it's daily.
he didn't hit and run. He hit it and sit it.
Oh, he just sat like he just hit you and just sat.
No. He went across the platform. If he sat there, I would have
Okay.
do something. He went across
Okay,
the
I was
platform,
about to say.
and I was disoriented. So I honestly tried to get like his like photo was the best I could do. But it was kind of like the old like video game Mortal Kombat. I was just kind of like I couldn't like do
Oh,
anything.
you were stunned.
That's
You were.
right. Yeah, I was stunned. I was
Fatality.
like-
Somebody in the background was like, "Finish him."
yeah, and I was
Finish
like,
him.
Don't finish me.
The old,
but I
the
gotta
old lady
really-
on the train was like, "Finish him."
He wanted him to sit down so he could be like round 2.
Yeah.
Fight.
Thankfully, those Mortal Kombat codes are really long. Otherwise, he would have really hit me with something dangerous.
Yeah, man. No,
Well,
that's facts though.
Yeah, and that's since we're talking about always be vigilant on the train. Just a real quick, I took a trip to Atlanta to see my Braves, and the color of my skin doesn't tell you I'm Puerto Rican. So in Atlanta, you're white, and they I'm wearing Griffies, and they're looking at me up and down. I'm thinking in my head, please don't, because one of us is gonna get locked up, and that's probably gonna be me. And so I definitely understand. The moral of the story is always be vigilant on a train.
Always. It was annoying too because I just got my. You know how you can fall asleep on the train sometimes. You're not supposed to.
Oh,
like,
this,
you know when
this,
you-
this was a post
You know
nap
when you-
hit.
No, I was wide awake, but in other
After.
times I just had my like. You know when you can like close your eyes and you know when your stop's coming and you get up when your stop is.
Yeah,
You've
yeah.
been on
Right.
the train that much. I just perfected like my train sleep. It was comfortable. All that like on other days, not today. Not the day I got hit. The day I got hit, I was wide awake, obviously. And now I gotta stay up at all times. no
I
matter
feel
how tired I am.
that though, because it takes a couple minutes to get that good.
I mean,
train nap in.
listen, it could be worse. Remember, just a couple months ago.
Absolutely.
Remember a couple months ago that chick was just lit on fire on the train. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I'm not trying to
Yeah.
be down, sound down about it, but the dude just sat back and just watched.
Ain't no reason to be down. Somebody just got lit on
No.
fire. No big fucking deal.
But you know what I'm saying.
I felt the exact same way. It could have been so much worse. I mean,
Yo,
it was a hit.
You
It was,
guys see those
not a
fireworks
fun-
on the subway? Holy shit!
No, I didn't see this. There was fireworks on the subway.
Yeah, you were just talking about
Well, that.
Not in that way.
Good way to put a spin on that, right?
Well, I will say this. I had something like this. It wasn't on a train, but something like this happened to me about a month before my wedding. And I remember going home to the wife after that. Yo, she was so pissed.
What?
Because it was a month before the wedding. Something happened at the gym I work out
Were you
at.
drinking or something or no?
No, I was just working out at the gym. Somebody didn't like the fact that I guess I took their like clip or something. I didn't know they were there, and just how they were talking to me after that, I didn't appreciate it. So we started jawing back and forth, and one thing led to another.
Oh,
So
you
I
were
came
skillful.
home maybe like an hour later because I had to clean myself up for me now going in late to work because I had a shiner like right here. And I'm on the phone with PJ talking about it. I send him a picture. He's like, "Yo, you got battle scars, bro." And I remember she's like, I love how this is a big joke to you.
Oh, wait a minute. It was like a week before the wedding, and
It was a month before.
oh, so you.
It was
You
gone
were gonna
before the wedding.
recover.
If it was a week before, I would have really been fucked.
It reminds me when me and my wife, right, we were getting to get married. We are married now. We were getting married.
Yeah.
And we had to send our away for our passports. And you know me, I kind of like, nationality send it like 2 weeks after, and she's, oh my God, we're not gonna be able to go to our honeymoon in Mexico. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so I got that too. I got that too.
Everybody's gonna get it at one point who's been there.
I mean,
Like, it's gonna happen at some
everything
point
went-
leading up to it.
yeah, everything went well. We ended up going to Mexico. We came back,
There you
obviously.
go.
Yeah, no, that's usually how it goes. But I
Happy
mean,
endings for
let's talk about this. Let me ask you this: did you end up doing the show after you got assaulted? That would have been a hell of a story.
I wanted to, but I was busted open. I was bleeding. I had no idea. I felt like in a lame way. I felt like a wrestler because I was like, oh, I got hit. Let me shake it off and go.
Yo, he hit
And-
you
and
with
go-
such
go-
a sick. He
Let me
hit you
go
with
hit
such.
the town.
Yo, he
the
hit you with
town.
such a sick blade job.
I mean,
And then
you-
a good Samaritan had to like help me out. But no, dude, you're bleeding. You gotta go talk to the cops. And I looked and I was like, oh fuck, I am bleeding. And I was like, oh, I probably shouldn't take that long. It'll clean me up and I can go. And I just know I had to spend a good few hours in the ER, which you never ever want to be in, especially if
No.
you're not in that much pain. It's just
Of course
like
not.
the scariest place in the world.
Yeah, man. No, I hear that 100%. I was genuinely curious though, because I still had to go to work after. I just went in like an hour and a half later than I was supposed to, and I was trying to teach through that. I even did the show here that night.
what did the people ask? Hey, what happened to your eye?
What ended up happening to me was they kicked us both out of the gym, and they asked me like, hey, do you want to take action? Do you want to get looked at? And I was just like, nah, fuck that, and I just went off. Because I'm like, I'm not about to stay in the place where, people just watched me fist fight this dude and, just sit here and act like nothing's wrong with me being here. So I'm going to head out. I'm going to clean myself up, and I'm going to go about my day. And hopefully nobody asks me about this. Which I work as a swim instructor. There was maybe like 2 people that asked me, which shows you how much people give a fuck about my day.
Well, I recently seen a TikTok with a guy with a busted face. He's bleeding, and he rolled the TikTok video without realizing his face was busted.
Right.
So he left it. He let it roll. You could have done something like that, and you'd have been. It had 50 million views.
I know.
Comedian, busted up comedian.
Yeah, man. He was
I
he was
could've.
letting it slide down just like Ruben in somebody's DMs.
I had no idea it was that. I just was disoriented. I just wanted to get to the show.
No, I
That was my
mean
whole
it
thing,
had.
and then Jennifer couldn't go to the show, so that was a little frustrating. But
No, I mean it happened to me as well. Like I didn't realize like how bad I was bleeding. I just felt a little bit, and then I looked at my eye in the car. I was like, I should probably clean that up before I go to work.
Yeah.
So I ended up calling out of work. I was just like, yeah, I just got in a fist fight. I don't know if you want me to come in. And the person I talked to, I don't want to reveal any names, but she was like, I'm going to ask about this because I've never heard this story from anyone before. So I don't know what to actually tell you.
And she's like, "Did you
And-
win at least?"
I forget if she asked me that or not. I'm not sure.
If you tell somebody,
But no, she called me back and she was just like, you can go in after you wash yourself off. Just don't tell anybody what actually happened.
how the
I
hell?
was like, just
Wait a
give me
minute,
the
how the
day.
hell-
Like,
Just give me the
like,
day off. How the hell do
Yeah.
you like go to work and like what do you tell somebody? You got a freaking knot in your side of your head.
I was just hoping
You look
nobody.
like somebody gave you a 2-piece and you're sitting there. What do you tell them?
I was just hoping nobody.
I walked
asked-
into a wall.
I was just
Yeah.
hoping nobody asked me questions, but what I did end up telling the person that asked me, because it was at the gym, so I just told them, dumbbell slipped out of my hand, hit myself in the eye.
I was at
I figured that was the best way I could do it.
I was at a wrestling match, and one of the wrestlers fell off the side. I was in front row, and it hit me in the head.
I should.
That
Yeah,
works.
that's what I
Hey,
should. That's what
Stone
I should
Cold
do
Steve
next time.
Austin almost took
That's what I
somebody
should.
out at WrestleMania. So
That's
Right?
what I should do next time.
It's
I should just be
possible.
like, "Yo, I got hit with a fucking chair." Just no context.
Yeah. Got hit with a chair, fold up chair. I was at a wrestling show, Wrestlemania, something like that.
It just happens to me once a month where I just get hit with a chair. It's not a big deal. No, but before we get into wrestling, I want to make sure we talk about you a little bit. How long have you been doing comedy and what got you in it? Let's talk about it a little bit.
yeah, I mean, I've been doing comedy for about 10 years now. I got into it. I mean, I always liked like writing things, just trying to be funny, writing jokes, writing TV shows, these scripts and things. I took an improv class, and I took that like before that actually. I just kept having these like I had like a really boring job, and I just kept having visions of me doing
We all
stand up,
do.
which was what's up?
I
Yeah,
said we all do.
yeah.
If anybody like I have fun doing my job, but if anybody actually saw my work, they would be so fucking bored.
Yeah,
watching.
yeah. Like we all, I think we all like in a certain way we all like our jobs, but we all know our jobs can be boring.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially back then when what I was doing, I was like logging reality show clips. It wasn't even like a fun reality show. It was like one of those like design ones. So they're
Oh,
just
bro,
going
you're
to,
by a
like,
fucking desk. No,
the-
that's why your job is boring.
yeah, they were just going. They were just going to malls and buying rugs and stuff. So I'm just like, this sucks.
What the fuck?
But I just kept having these thoughts of me doing stand up, which was funny because it was never something I ever envisioned myself doing. So I took an improv class, and a lot of the improv people in the class were stand-ups, and they were like, "Hey, take this one with Gotham if you were thinking about doing stand-up comedy."
Mm.
And I know a lot of people don't do classes. A lot of people just kind of walk up there, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But what the class taught me to do was how to not suck for 5 minutes. Like it literally gave you that kind of structure, so you're not just going up there thinking you have 5 minutes when you only have one, and
That's
taught you
facts.
like how to write a joke. It was a little pricey, but it taught you how to write a joke. They did the whole graduation class, and they're off to the races.
I can appreciate that though, because as somebody who didn't take a class and kind of had to figure out his 5 minutes on his own, it takes a lot more trial and error than if you have something with structure. So
What the important thing is, you said you write your stuff. People think that just like anything, people think that singing, DJing, people think that you just walk up stage and it's done. That's why when they, just for instance, I'm a DJ, people are like, oh, I'm paying you this amount, for what? Well, people don't know that there's a lot of preparation behind all that.
like certain
Absolutely.
songs flow together, certain
Correct.
jokes flow
Correct.
together, and it
Oh,
took me a lot of
absolutely.
trial
And
and,
y-
error to figure out what jokes flowed with what.
Yeah, and your preparation is key. If you can't prepare, you can't hit that you can't throw that punchline or that hit, or that in crowd joke. It's a prep. It's a lot of preparation for it, and I respect that. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. And
Sure.
I do the same for DJing. There's nothing I hate more. Oh, this obviously, there is, but something that really annoys me is when there's a DJ who can't transition well. They like
Yeah.
have like some awful transitions. And I remember I was at like a bar a couple years ago, and the guy just kept trying to mix songs together that just were not mixing, and I was just like, how did you get this position? Like, I was
Yo,
so frustrated.
You know
Like,
what
it's
my
just, like,
favorite?
it really like bugs me when that happens.
You know what my favorite with a bad DJ is? When he can't get his music working and somebody starts chanting, "No music,
Yeah.
no music."
Yeah,
That's
that's the one.
usually me.
That's the one thing. It's the prep, and me. Anytime I do something, I'm trying to at least be prepared for something like that. That's what you prepare for any mishaps or any issues. You prep for that.
Absolutely.
Everything is just talent and just what the life you put into it.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
definitely understand and respect that.
Oh, thank
right.
you. You too. But yeah, I mean, I went from there and I just kept at it. Now I've started a show called Character Select Comedy. I started that in 2016. Started that in like a basement of a bar, and just skipping a few things. Now it is at the Stand in New York City once a month,
Beautiful.
which is wonderful.
Nice.
Next show is May 3rd, 6 p.m. We got some fun comics. We're gonna have a great lineup. Eagle Wit's gonna be on the show. Tata Sharice, And sometimes we do themed ones. We've done shows with Ryan Nemeth, Stokely Hathaway,
Okay.
shows connected to Comic Con, Anime NYC. So it's really been like a crazy 10 years of things you would never expect your other worlds to blend into it, but
I
it
actually
kind of has
like
for me.
a lot of his sets because he posts his stuff up like a lot of people do, and he talks about a lot of anime, a lot of wrestling stuff, which I think of that stuff all the time. Like I have a lot of wrestling shorts that I'll cut and I'll put jokes on them, which by the way, you should guys check out our YouTube channel. This interview will be up there as well. We're also getting really close to 7,300 subscribers, by the way.
That's
Let's
awesome.
go, let's
Nice,
go.
nice.
But, you know, it became a perfect medium for me to kind of just put stuff out there, about a topic that, I want to talk about, a topic that I can, put some humor to it. And it was a great medium for it. But I love the fact that you kind of just go up on stage, you'll talk about whatever, and you'll try to make it as relatable as you can for any crowd to look at it. So I do want to ask. I don't want to spoil any of the clips that you have. You guys can go check out Kyle Lewis on Instagram if you want to check out some of his stuff. But what's something that's going on in wrestling that you want to try to joke about now? I've gotten so much stuff myself from John Cena's heel turn.
Well, John Cena's heel turn was one of them. I just didn't have like a solid base. I think, especially when it happened, I wasn't booked at the time. Where I just wanted to kind of just talk about John Cena going heel, like especially with everything is going on in the world. The biggest thing in my world being John Cena turning heel, I
Yeah.
thought would be funny. One that I was still want to mess around with because they're still kind of together. Like how relatable wrestling is to everyone and how you can like connect with it. And
Yeah.
the way I felt most seen was not like the first black champion, The Rock or Kofi Kingston winning the title. It's when these two beautiful women fought over this nerdy dude with a bad haircut and mustache, Dominic Mysterio, and I just feel like I have a
Yeah,
chance. Like
buddy.
if this guy who's a total dweeb that eats chicken tenders like me has a chance, I have a chance too. So like something like that. But yeah, it comes and go. Like I don't. It's not every show that I do things that are wrestling and anime related, but I do like sticking something in, especially if I think it'll. Even if something you got to do jokes for you. You can't. I mean, you should be doing jokes for you if you're
Of
on stage,
course.
but if you have a niche, if you want to throw it in there every now and then and make it as relatable as possible or make that reference, you never know who will get it or enjoy it, and I like doing that stuff.
I love that, man. 100%. So I do want to make sure that we also talk about WrestleMania. We're going to talk about night 1 and night 2, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Raw after Mania cuz a lot of shit went down on the Raw after. But we'll start with night 1. My opinion, the better night of the two.
Mm.
We had Ray Phoenix versus El Grande Americano, which is not Chad Gable. Anybody who says that's Chad Gable is wrong. It's defamation and you have no soul. You watched El Grande Americano get taken out by security with Chad Gable standing right there. It is not Chad Gable. How could you say that about this man? But El Grande Americano got to step in a ring at WrestleMania, a true legend, and I know Chad Gable is so proud. And Ray Phoenix got to as well. Rey Mysterio was out hurt. Ray Phoenix stepped up. They had a great match with almost no prep going into it. And El Grande Americano took a piece of metal from one head to the other, from, his trunks to his mask,
Yep.
and used it to win. Got a win on the grandest stage of them all. And I feel like if Donald Trump had a favorite wrestler, it would be El Grande Americano. I just want to say that right now.
Go Dust.
Like I've thought about creating.
Go Dust.
I've thought about creating a short where I just do a Trump impression talking about El Grande Americano. But that's where I'm at with that.
Every time I see Trump and WWE, it's Go Dust speaking of, how he's going to make the WWE great again. That's just
I
Honestly,
could see him being a classic Goldust fan. He
Right,
doesn't
right,
like
right,
anything
right.
else, but But he loves gold.
I like it all. It's gold. The gold is the best.
Or it
I
completely
like
goes
it the
over his head.
goldest. Nobody likes it more golden than me. You call me orange, but it's gold.
Yeah.
It goes. All the homosexual overtones go over his head. He just thinks that he's a man that loves gold, like gold member.
Yeah,
That's
right,
right.
right.
That's how I could see it.
They've given me gold medals, not orange medals. Gold medals.
just like
But
just
he,
like just
go
like
ahead,
just
no.
like sorry, just like Trump said, I look forward to going to the Pope's funeral. Like you know, it's his interpretations and his understandings.
I don't think he's getting that party foot fight. I don't know.
Oh,
I
he
don't
got
think
the
he's getting that.
yeah, he's
I don't think
going.
he's getting it. All right.
You're just enjoying the shit out of talking about the Pope, huh?
Oh, yeah, he's my Pope, man. You know, like he criticized him. You know, he criticized him before before he took the exit. So, you know, he just dropped the mic and walked away. You know.
Yeah, no,
The way to go
this man was literally blessing people till his last day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you caught when they pulled him out to St. Petersburg, he was sleeping, and then when he woke up, and then he blessed everybody and went back to bed. I was like,
then they were like, oh shit, he stopped snoring.
yeah.
Oh man.
Those after Vents.
Yeah, maybe they shouldn't have put him outside. Probably not the smartest idea with a double pneumonia, but
Yeah, right. Like making him breathe all that in. What's wrong with you?
it's probably it was an unknown, I guess. But rest in peace, of course.
Absolutely,
Yeah, of course.
absolutely.
But what was your opinion on the match? What was your opinion on the match, man?
You can't go wrong with Phoenix and El Grande
true.
Americano. I mean, El Grande is a new guy, but he's taken to the ring like now he's not a new guy. He's been wrestling all over the world, but we're seeing him for the first time, just like a lot of people are seeing Phoenix for the first time.
That's true.
I don't really like the cheating, but he got the win. It's a little disrespectful to take something from your balls and hit somebody in the head with it. It's more disrespectful than Mankind with the sock.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that because he used to take the sock out of his pants and make everybody smell it.
Actually, might be less disrespectful because I don't know where Mankind had that stock.
This is maybe like a step below taking a sock out of your pants.
I mean, no, listen, nobody.
Because it was a piece of metal.
Nobody.
I think I'd rather get hit with a piece of metal, especially if
Then the sock that came out of somebody's balls.
Yeah, like I'm just getting hit in the head with a piece of metal, and there's a mask in between it. This sock is going in my mouth.
Yeah, and
yeah, you're right, and that's after like a 20-minute match. So
yeah, and that's sweating.
Ooh.
That's sweating.
Yep.
Has some real sweat. Has some real
boy.
real ball sweat there.
Because you know
Every
it's
night.
getting caught. Like,
He's
you know
wrapping
what
it
I mean?
around.
Oh god.
Like,
It's like
it's-
Rikishi, when Rikishi would have if he was an opponent he didn't like, he'd wear like the smelly thong.
Oh yeah, then he would sit on him. He would sit on him, make him. Yeah.
But he revealed that like he would, if he liked the person, he'd wear like a clean thong. If he didn't like the person, he'd wear like a dirty thong. So like when he did the stink face, like it was like worse for them.
That's a real stink face.
Yeah, you would get the real one.
That's the real thing.
Rikishi was a big guy.
Yeah, never piss off Rikishi.
Yeah, that is a fat ass, bro. Like that puts Kim Kardashian to shame.
The original BBL. It was Rikishi.
That's right.
But no, it was a good match. Can't go wrong with it. And great for Phoenix.
Yes.
Short notice. Terrible for Rey Mysterio. Would have been nice to see him have one more.
Yeah, man.
WrestleMania. I mean, he'll have another one, but
It was good for Dom. His deadbeat
no,
dad
good
wasn't
for
there.
Dom. But unfortunate for Rey Mysterio. Phoenix, great moments, especially after coming from AEW and that whole year and a half. It's felt like that they weren't even on TV to be on WrestleMania. Good for both of them.
Yeah, man. 100%. I love that move that Rey Fenix does where he walks on the ropes and just kicks people. He's been doing that a lot. And I feel like in the best way possible, he's taking wrestling back to the circus. Like all he needs is a unicycle, bro.
He's taking it back. He's taking it back to the Hardy Boys. Or the Hardy Boys were like all these, I like that stuff.
I've never seen them walk on the ropes though.
Well, the Hardy Boys had their fair share.
Jeff Hardy would do the guardrail. He would walk on the guardrail.
Oh, okay.
And
hit
Lita,
like Lita
40%
too.
of the time.
Lita too. Lita was. You can't forget about Lita. She was.
No, Lita was wonderful.
Yeah,
Lita,
she was,
I mean, Team Extreme was definitely the moment of the time. They were like that.
Flying
Maybe not
off
been
those
The Rock or
chairs.
Austin, but they were like, they were one of those really popular teams that you just don't forget.
See, we're not here to talk about TLC, Mr. DJ, but we're here to talk about TLC. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Listen, at least I understand and relate. You know what I'm saying?
That's
I remember those days. You know, I grew
He's
up.
breaking out his DMX voice. You hear the rap.
I grew up on the during the times where the NWO made the debut. I remember that. I remember when they came in the middle of the ring and they just showed all their colors, and I was like, oh shit, what is going on? This is history right here. I remember when DX crashed. What is it, WCW, right?
WCW,
with the tank. Saying,
yeah, man.
and that was
and just waited outside.
they literally
Meet
fought.
me outside.
They
Meet me outside.
They literally would fight. I mean, that was crazy back in the day. And then Vince McMahon bought them all out. So
Yeah.
Then we lost all
very
our car
abridged
crash
timeline, but
TV.
Yes, that is what happened. They had very, very wild times in the '90s, which I think newer fans would love to replicate, especially online. You see the tribalists, if that's what they're called, between the pro AEW and pro WWE, instead of just liking everything.
just the attitude
Every
era.
fight between these two.
They
But,
think they want to replicate the 90s, but
They
then
can't
they're
handle
gonna
it.
start getting offended.
Well,
No,
exactly.
exactly.
I mean, you know how on any given night somebody was getting slapped, or literally really, and they were talking hella trash. The attitude era was it was the real it was crazy.
They were spoiling results. ECW was trashing both of them.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
There was a lot going on.
Paul E. Dangerously was living dangerously.
Bischoff was
yeah.
constantly fighting with McMahon, right?
Oh yeah.
It was constantly
No, they were beefing.
battling, and it was real. It was real.
You say you could handle the 90s. You guys would be constantly getting offended. You guys think Dave Chappelle is offensive now, but you didn't watch the Chappelle show, clearly.
Oh, listen. That's a whole different. I don't think society.
Like, you think Dave
Can
Chappelle
handle-
is bad now?
Yeah, I don't think society can handle the Dave Chappelle today. I mean, Tyrone Biggums.
Again, you think Dave
No.
Chappelle is bad?
How can you handle that? That's one guy you can't handle.
There you go.
I think they don't care. They pick and choose. People pick and choose what they want to be mad about, and certain things like that.
Yep.
I'm not gonna get into the things that Chappelle discusses that gets people mad, but I think
They're
people
always
like
trying to
do a
cancel
lot of-
him, and here you go.
People-
He's still there smoking that cigarette.
People like to pick and choose what's the most important thing of the day. I used to say it's kind of like a week, like a Family Guy. Like, everyone gets really upset about something for the week, and then it all resets again, and then they find a new thing that we get mad about again. Like, that's just how people are now.
I'll get canceled for a week. It's
And there's
all right.
important things to actually be mad about, but we get mad about such stupid stuff all the time, and
Yeah,
we
man.
waste a lot of time. So maybe focusing on real things to get mad about.
Yep. Like
I
night
agree.
two, like the main event of
Like the end
WrestleMania
of
night 2.
Exactly, like that, like Travis Scott. No,
But anyways, Jade Cargill versus Naomi is next. Just so everybody knows, I don't believe these matches are in order, but I'm going up on the screen that's in front of me. So Jade Cargill versus Naomi is next, and I feel like if this feud kept going, this could be like the biggest blood feud in the women's division that WWE has ever had. But Jade Cargill won last night. It was a competitive match. It was what I wanted to see without Naomi winning. I was kind of pulling for that because she's doing the best work of her career. But nonetheless, it was an enjoyable match, one that I liked watching, and I hope the feud actually continues.
man, I think the feud's gonna continue. With the result of what we saw in night 2 in the women's title match, I think we're gonna have some more elements now between Jade and Naomi.
Yeah.
It was that Naomi got completely washed; she just got caught.
Yeah.
And she just got beat. So I think Naomi's got a great character right now. People are
Yes.
really connecting with it. And I can't wait to see what happens next with her. And hopefully, who knows? Maybe she'll be Money in the Bank. She can really be a top heel. And I
Yeah.
would love for that to be like a blood feud. I know WWE doesn't do a lot of blood.
Like I'm trying to get a Hell in a Cell like CM Punk Drew McIntyre style.
yeah,
WWE has never done anything like that, and we've seen it in AEW. I would love for it to
Mariah
happen
May
in
and
WWE.
Toni Storm was arguably the wrestling women's feud of the year in general. You can even say. So to see them do it, WWE could definitely replicate that if they want to. And I think Naomi and Jade have the chops to do it, or Naomi, Jade, Bianca, some type of trio
You got to put Bianca
would
in
be
there
that big.
somewhere at some point.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be interesting where Sheila lies because the fans turned against her. The fans have been booing her
Yeah, because WrestleMania is
recently,
over now.
but who knows? Hey, they might keep booing her.
Yeah,
They
man.
don't like her for some reason. They don't like a successful black woman.
Well, you know what? They don't
Who
like
has done
Cody.
nothing wrong.
They've been turning on Cody Rhodes over the past few weeks too, but you know. But let me just say this. Let me ask you something.
Mhm.
So, I am genuinely curious. Which Jade Cargill run do you think is better so far? Her AEW run or her WWE run?
Mm. Oh boy, I don't even look. I would say I guess I'm gonna say the AEW run only because it was just like very consistent,
I
not
agree.
losing. Maybe lost like she lost her last two matches are the ones that she lost.
Yeah.
Um, WWE, she was in the tag team. I guess she had to learn her style. She disappeared for a bit. A lot of her internet backstage stuff came up. So like she hasn't really had the chance to have the singles run, which I think she's gonna have now.
Yeah. I
So
agree with that.
I think that the AEW run is currently the better run,
I
and we'll
agree.
see what happens this year. Maybe this year she will have a stellar run and be a top woman in the division, in a
Listen,
very stacked division.
this blood feud might change my mind. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I can't. I'm trying to remember. Besides Chris Statlander, I can't really remember like her big AEW feuds right now. But I remember Chris Statlander and yeah, I can't remember the
Cause
other
she
ones.
was wiping out
There's just
people
so
like
much.
Goldberg,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. No, she was like 50 or 60, whatever her streak was. It was cool to watch, and she would like dress like Chitara and stuff, and like it was cool. But
Her streak was longer than Goldberg's. That's what I'm gonna go with. That's my
I'll go with
story,
that.
and I'm sticking to it.
Just to support my boy Bret Hart. Her streak was longer than Goldberg's.
Goddamn right. But anyways, the next one, the World Tag Team Championship match, the War Raiders versus the New Day. The New Day win, you know, their 12th or 13th, maybe even their 28th tag team title. And I enjoyed this one, man. The match was all right. Like I had fun with it. Like it was enough. I wanted to see the New Day win because I want to see them just kind of take over the tag division, take people out, you know, kick people in the dick like John Cena's been doing, throw people over on their stretchers. Like I just want the New Day to just go
Create
off.
chaos.
I want the New Day to go off on everybody. Like I'm
No,
trying
I
to have
think
New Day go full on Dark State on people.
I think they need it. I mean, once they did the thing with Big E, where they turned their back on Big E,
Hmm
they got booed for a long time,
Everybody
and
turned their
then
back on them.
nothing came of it until 2 weeks before WrestleMania. So I think that's the only reason that fell flat because the New Day and the War Raiders are very good teams
Yeah,
that could have a good match. And I'm not saying this match was bad, but they can have a good match and a good storyline all the time. But they were just so out of the picture that it just kind of felt out of the blue to have the match. I thought they were having the match because Big E was gonna get involved because they were attacking the necks and they were making fun of Big E's neck. I thought something with somebody with a neck injury, whether it's Big E, Stone Cold, Kurt Angle, anybody who they were like talking trash about was gonna cost them the title. Looking at it again and how ridiculous the War Raiders look because they were wearing like Clash of Clan gear. I think they were only on the show to be part of the sponsor because they were the Vikings and they had to do the Clash of Clan video game thing.
it's
So
probably
because they
why they
had
lost
to,
the titles.
yeah, it's you wearing goofy rubber outfits. They didn't look cool that day.
Yeah, man.
But
Nobody thinks you're gonna send them to Valhalla. That's all I'm trying to say.
no, they're trying to be modern Vikings now. I think the new characters they're not wearing the furs and stuff anymore. They look like bikers. But I'm excited for what's going to happen with the New Day. Raw needs a boost in its tag division because SmackDown
Yes,
has all those teams.
for sure.
Raw could definitely use a boost. I know Axiom and Nathan Frazier for Axiom just lost the titles on NXT.
Yo,
So maybe if Axiom can get a call up, that would be they could stick out there rather than be on SmackDown with all the teams that are like Fraxium. So I think that'd be cool for them. Yeah, who knows? We'll see.
I have an idea. What do you think of Money in the Bank getting a tag team, like a tag team Money in the Bank. What do you think of a tag team Money in the Bank match?
I think Money in
What,
the Bank.
suitcase?
I think it is a cool idea. I think the problem with Money in the Bank is you want it to be for the world title. Because remember when Austin Theory cashed in for the United States Championship, and everybody was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Okay, but
But
we say that, but at the same time, WrestleMania 2 years ago, a tag team match for the World Tag Team titles main event in night one.
it
Yes.
did.
So
It
it's
absolutely did.
not like we can't, put that as its own thing. Like it's still a world championship. And I
I
think
think,
that's what
yeah,
people should remember. WCW at one point had mid-card tag team title belts.
yeah.
So it's
No, they
not
had
like you can't make a deep tag team division.
That's the thing. The tag division is always kind of in flux. I mean, SmackDown has great teams, but they're not. The crowd could care less sometimes, which is unfortunate because you have the Motor City Machine Gun, Street Profits, the Garza's pretty deadly, DIY. Like these are all good.
So
wrestlers.
have one of them win it and have one of them cash it in on Raw and win the Raw tag team titles.
But it would have to be like a big tag division on Raw too, unless they're cashing in on like Roman Reigns and CM Punk. I don't see people like being that invested, unless that tag division gets built up. Which that's what
But
I would
again,
love to see.
that's what you do. You build that
Yeah.
up and you use one of those teams to help and maybe take some people from NXT while you're at it.
No, the NXT has. That's why I mentioned Fraxium. You can take them up.
Yeah, you
I'm
did.
trying to
You
think
did.
of. I'm trying to think of the other teams on NXT that can go right now. They just broke up the family, which would have been a good team to go. Tony D'Angelo and them.
Yeah, man.
And
Chase
whoever else they
U.
have over there. Chase U, who they also broke up. They keep breaking up teams. That's the problem. Stop breaking up teams. That's why you had the Hardy Boys. The Hardy Boys were the point where they were. At least Jeff got to the point where he could be a main eventer in the singles and tag team. Like they got to that point because you believed in them and you believed that at least they could go for singles titles. Because I remember in the Attitude Era, they were at least Intercontinental champions, European champions, and they were still a good team. Or like the Usos, like you can make another team like that. They just have to put the work in.
Speaking of believing, you could even pull people from TNA at this point. Joe Hendry was on WrestleMania.
Yes, he
So why
was.
not?
Joe Hendry and I think his partner on TNA was Elias the last time I watched. So who knows?
Yeah.
Bring back Elias.
I never thought I would
Ezekiel.
see a day where the TNA World Champion would be on a WWE WrestleMania.
That was very shocking. I thought that was the last person I was expecting.
That's neither here nor there. The next match, United States Championship, LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. Yo, I get so excited watching Jacob Fatu in that ring, bro. Like,
Easy.
I enjoy his move set. I enjoy his promos. When he cuts a promo, he's talking to anybody but me, and I'm scared of somebody coming through my window.
He sells it. He sells it really well.
He's a scary, scary man. At least the way he sells it. I don't know how he is in real life.
I have never seen somebody scare me by licking a title. Like, that's all I'm trying to say.
But it was a good match. I'm not necessarily a big LA Knight guy, but LA Knight's. I love the BFT counter. LA Knight. So LA Knight, Jacob Fatu did a great job. I feel for Solo Sikoa because he's just kind of there now.
Yeah, nah.
He's got no. It reminds me. I have a best friend, a great guy. He's a stronger guy. He's way bigger than me. Like he's like
Right.
my Jacob. I'm Solo. Like say we both like know like a girl or something. They're leaving. Like goodbye. I'll give him a hug. Goodbye. But he has the strength to like also like hug and like pick her up. And they're always like, oh my god, like they like that.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
Of course.
like,
Women
have
usually like that.
strength.
I know from experience.
Yes, I don't have. I'm the solo of the group. I'm just sitting there with my thumb while he's able to just be the man at that.
You could be Tongaloa. You know what?
I could be Tongaloa. I have been a plenty of Tongaloa when trying to get girls. But,
He picks up girls. You hold them upside down.
Exactly. That's the Tongaloa way. But no, I thought that was a good match. Curious to see where LA Knight goes. I think he gets past the U.S. title. I think maybe a brand switch could help him. I don't know. So I don't know when they're doing the draft and doing all that stuff again. But because he's not gonna be the world champion unless he feuds with John Cena for a little bit, which I'm sure people would like, but
Yeah,
he's not gonna win.
that's
So
true.
I wonder what they'll do.
All right. So next one is the WWE Women's Championship. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. The match was fine. I enjoyed the result. It was what I personally wanted. I know some people were talking about Charlotte should win and then Tiffany Stratton should overcome her later. Listen, Charlotte Flair is going to win another world championship at some
Absolutely.
point.
She's
we act like that's not going to happen.
The name alone just holds. It's everybody. The name alone. They're just gonna give her another.
John Cena said he should win 17 to shake the hands of the person who wins 18. I feel like that's going to be Charlotte Flair.
I mean, if she wins it 4 more times this year would be crazy. It's the WWE, so anything can happen.
Yeah.
But I did like that match. I like that result. I like that it was a fight for the most part. It wasn't like a technical grapple and things like that. I mean, Tiffany Stratton lost it too.
As personal as it got, it's what it needed to be.
Yeah. No, it looked like how I looked after I got hit or after you in the gym in that fight.
I'm not gonna lie.
They had the shiners.
I'm not gonna lie. I did like Tiffany's entrance too. It was creative.
That was cool. That was the Barbies and the dance and the movement. I thought it was really cool. I think Tiffany Stratton's in an interesting case right now because she is not a face. There's no real reason to cheer her besides her being hot and talented, and WWE fans are gooners. So, but it turned.
It's a lot like Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah,
except the hot part.
Gooners are not gender specific. Anybody can
not
be
at all.
Dominic has several lady gooners out there for him.
I identify as a goon / hooligan.
There you go. There you go.
That's fair.
I think now, I wonder where she goes from there. Maybe more of a feud with Charlotte. There's gonna be call ups. Who knows what's going on with Roxanne Perez and people from NXT. But also, whatever happened on Raw, which we'll talk about maybe a little later.
Yeah.
These horsewomen are getting four horsewomen are getting a little angry and agitated. Maybe we have a power trip of our own with the women instead of, how Stone Cold and Triple H got together.
Listen.
Maybe we're getting the Charlotte Flair getting back with a former horsewoman to dominate these divisions.
Everybody talks about how everybody turns on Cody Rhodes. What about all these people that are going to be turning on Lyra Valkyria? I finally have something to attach character-wise to Lyra, and I'm so happy about it. But again, we'll talk about that later. Next one is the World Heavyweight Championship match, Jey Uso versus Gunther. I like this match. I saw it getting hate online. I genuinely liked it. I enjoyed the match. The build-up was so-so. I think there should have been less talking and a lot more throwing hands after Jimmy Uso got bludgeoned and bloodied, and we got none of that, and I did not like that about the feud. I think you were kind of taking a chance on Jey Uso getting beat down over and over and over again because the crowd was seeing the same thing. And when you see the same thing a lot of times in wrestling, people get tired of it pretty quick.
Yeah.
So you took a chance on that, and it may not have necessarily paid off as much as you wanted. Then Jimmy Uso got involved, and that kind of reignited the feud. And for me, not doing anything about your own brother getting put in the hospital afterwards until the night of, that fell flat for me. So I didn't like the build-up all that much, but I did enjoy the match. I thought it was a good back and forth throughout. I thought there was a good section, late in the match where Jay's getting beat down, and he's laughing about it. I actually really liked that part of the match. And eventually he starts going deep in the playbook, using even Gunther's moves at one point, which we don't really see Jey use suplexes and power bombs. And that's something you could have him add into his arsenal. People forget that you don't need a whole lot of big moves in wrestling. People were enjoying the match when John Cena was in control, and he was throwing clotheslines for half of it.
Yeah.
Like a clothesline, and you're cheering. You don't need a lot of big moves. Have Jey Uso add a German suplex. If you really want to be creative with the moveset, just make it a straightjacket German suplex and hook the arms. But, these are things you could use for Jey Uso in the future to kind of build that moveset going forward. And I feel like that can add something to just Jey Uso as a whole. But I genuinely like the match. I wish he would have put Gunther to sleep instead of have him tap out in 2 seconds, me personally. But that's really my only gripe with the match. I like the match. The build-up wasn't all that great, but I thought the match was good, and I genuinely enjoyed it.
Yeah, the match was good.
The tap out was a surprise. But when you look at it, when you get splashed 3 times and then choked out, you're gonna tap out. You can't breathe. This is the way I saw it.
That's fair.
He couldn't breathe. He knew he was caught. And sometimes when Gunther, at least as a character, knows when he's got. And he immediately got his heat back on Monday. So it's not like people were acting like the guy was gonna be on Sunday Night Heat after this.
Listen,
No,
10 years ago, attacking Michael Cole would get you cheered. That's all I'm saying.
That's how different things are.
Times have changed.
Yeah.
You guys can't handle the 90s because they
It
would
was-
have cheered in the 90s too.
It was funny. He's like talking about, I don't want to be assaulted. I was like, you used to get beat up every week.
Yeah, right?
Pretty sure John's gonna beat you up in the middle of the ring and put you, like barbecue on you.
Are you going to bring back the coal mine now, sir?
Oh, please, no. Oh. They think WrestleMania 41 was bad. Those
Bro,
were bad times.
Raw was
Ay, ay, ay.
insufferable at that
Ooh,
time.
not the coal mine. But good for Jay. I think it needed to happen. If he lost again, it would have deflated the entire arena. He needs this moment. He needs this moment as champion. And he doesn't have to be a champion for like a year. He's
Just
very
have him hold
Jeff
it till
Hardy.
SummerSlam.
You know? Jeff Hardy could be champion. He cannot be champion. You're still gonna like him. And then they're teasing stuff with Jay. I'm curious what opponents he's gonna have. They seem like they're stacking up the heels now for him. And yeah, let's see how the Jey Uso run goes. He's the guy. Let's see how it does.
Have him hold it till SummerSlam. I said you could lose it to Braun Breaker, but that was before they did what they did with Braun Breaker, and now they might have even something better in store for Braun.
Maybe.
But
Could still be Breaker. It could be Rollins.
it could still be Breaker. It could be Rollins. It could be any of those.
Sami Zayn was kind of side-eyeing.
The
for a
most
second.
recent, one of the most recent shorts I made was about Sami Zayn, and I was just repeating what he said. You're my brother. You're my dog. You're my oos. I love you, and I'm gonna stab you in the back because that's what everybody else is doing.
It's pretty much. It looks like it could happen. I don't want to see it happen, but let's make it compelling.
It's too soon for me. Don't stick the knife in that wound. Don't do that.
Exactly.
But then you have the main event, the triple threat match, CM Punk versus Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. And I got to say, I personally don't like triple threat matches without stakes. But the build, the match itself, I was proven wrong on all fronts. You know, this was the match of the night, possibly the match of the weekend. There was another triple threat match that we'll talk about that kicked off night 2. We'll talk about that one next. But for me, this is absolutely the best match of night 1. And I enjoyed it from start to finish. I enjoyed a double backstab in that match. When do we see that? When do we see 2 people get low blowed in one match? Nah, man.
It's been years. It's been years for that.
I enjoyed.
Well, China used to. China used
Listen.
to just low blow everybody.
Listen, they gave the double turn match its own Hall of Fame moment. This was a double turn in and of itself because you turned on 2 people.
Yeah.
You know, we just did a double turn in a different way. But, you know, I'm going to keep the action that we talk about to the finish, which it seems like Paul Heyman makes his choice when he gives the chair to CM Punk. Mind you, CM Punk has put Paul Heyman in his corner because it was something that they talked about back in 2013 about how he was going to walk him down the aisle for his main event of WrestleMania, which this has finally been cashed in on. You know, for those who don't know why he asked him this. So, with that being said, the tribal chief wasn't very happy about it. He felt betrayed. And he hands the chair to CM Punk like he's actually betraying the tribal chief, like he will no longer acknowledge him. CM Punk goes to hit him. And before he can do that, Paul Heyman hits him below. And CM Punk goes down. We think this is a ruse and that Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns and the Bloodline are going to be back in full force. And then they turn to Seth Rollins to try to hit him with a chair to the back, like Seth Rollins did to Roman Reigns many years ago. But before Roman Reigns can do that, there's another betrayal, and it's Paul Heyman again. And nobody should really be that surprised because we've seen Paul Heyman do this to so many other people throughout his career, and we're just starting to bring that up again, obviously because it just happened. But the match goes to where Seth Rollins, I believe, hits Roman Reigns with a chair to the back, then hits a stomp. 1, 2, 3. Seth Rollins wins. Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman walk out together to close out WrestleMania Night 1 in Las Vegas again. Match of the night. All of the triple threat matches through Mania weekend were incredible, including the NXT Championship match at Stand and Deliver. That was also great, so shout out to that. But match of the night of night 1, in my opinion, no question.
I agree. You covered it all there. It was a surprise. Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman now. That's interesting to see where that goes. Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
I know people said Cody Rhodes prophesied that this was going to happen to Roman Reigns. He was going to be a chief with no kingdom, and that is what he is right now.
Yep.
CM Punk, he got his main event, lost his best friend in the process. So now there's Seth Rollins and CM Punk aren't done yet. Roman might be done for a little bit. He has to go back to the island for a little while.
Well, when you use people, that's what happened. Both CM Punk and Roman Reigns.
No, Paul Heyman was not wrong, and when he is just that's something I like about WWE right now. When people turn heel, for the most part,
It makes sense.
They're justified in why they are turning heel, but they just kind of go about it in a jerk way. So you boo them. Like Drew McIntyre wasn't necessarily wrong. Naomi wasn't necessarily wrong. You don't have to push somebody off into a car, but she wasn't wrong about her frustrations. And Paul Heyman also not wrong.
I love when Naomi's watching the video package. I'm gonna let you go in a second, but I love when Naomi's watching the video package of what happened to her at Elimination Chamber, and she was like, "Bro, all I did was push you, and you're trying to slam me into a door." You know, we forget the ledge, we forget the car. All I did was push you, bro.
That's a great heel, Naomi. Great villain.
That is classic. I love it. But anyways, you had something to say?
No, I didn't have anything to say.
Oh, okay. I thought you did. All right, so we're going from one triple threat match to the other because this one kicked off Mania. Rhea Ripley, night 2 anyway. Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky versus Bianca Belair. The amount of people that didn't pick Io Sky was mind-boggling to me because, first of all, Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair are focused on each other. Second of all, Io Sky got a shock win against Rhea Ripley as part of the build-up to Mania, so why have her let go of the title now when she just won it? That would have been a little confusing for me. And also, there's so much that Io can do after, as we're finding out. So there was no reason for it to be anybody but Io. And now Rhea and Bianca can go in their own different directions, which we kind of have an idea of where Rhea's going. We don't know where Bianca's going, but we've already kind of talked about some ideas about that. But again, you know, we went from the best match of night 1 in the main event to the best match, in my opinion, of night 2 in the kickoff. That ending spot, that was the best spot of the whole weekend.
That was wonderful.
Like, that KOD cover into that moonsault on both of them with Rhea stacked up. Oh, that was beautiful.
It's like the stuff you used to do in the Day of Reckoning, the game, the WWE game.
That's right.
You can do a move onto the other person after they do their finisher.
Yeah,
but
man.
It was a wonderful match. It was probably one of the better matches on the show, one of the best matches on the show, like you said. The right person won. Io, even though I like Bianca having a streak, she does not have a streak anymore. Depending on how you feel, she lost the Battle Royal, but nobody cared until they literally just announced it, like as she was making her entrance, and even her like entrance graphic was like 4-0. So like they don't know what they wanted to do history wise.
That's right.
But Bianca has officially lost a match at WrestleMania, pinned by Io Sky, so that's done with. Probably
Yeah,
also
buddy.
gonna mess with her when she returns back to SmackDown and has to deal with all that Naomi Jade stuff going on. EO needed that win, and people wanted to see her get that win. And I'm excited to see what happens with her as champion, who she faces. Uh, there's a there's a bunch of people to be called up that can still go. You can build some women on the division on Raw. Liv Morgan has a title, but there's a lot of women we haven't seen, and there's no Bianca or Rhea, at least at the moment, in the title picture. Rhea's kind of there, but we can have a fresh title picture, some fresh women in the title picture. So let's hopefully they don't drop the ball.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. You got anything to add?
No, not yet.
All right. I'm going to move on to the Sin City Street Fight then. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. Enjoyable. We got some good physical spots, which you'd expect from this match. And I was actually, this is a prediction I got wrong, but I was kind of happy about it. Drew won. Drew won at night 2 of WrestleMania. I thought he was going to lose. I was thinking, he would maybe try to put something together with Finn Balor afterwards, and we would kind of see them dominate for a little bit, especially on the tag team scene. I could see how that might be a problem with the New Day winning since they're heels. But, I was very happy to see Drew win. Excited to see what happens with him on SmackDown, where they take him. There's a lot they could do with him. They could insert him into the world title picture. Jey Uso versus Drew McIntyre for the world title. I would pay to see that.
I can see that.
Yeah, he can go back to Raw and go for that. Cody Rhodes lost, because a lot of times maybe he has to get to the back of the line. Maybe
they might have him go away for a bit.
Yeah, who knows how Drew McIntyre? People are getting behind Drew McIntyre. I mean, I like him as a heel, but people get behind him. There's kind of things I was worried about with this Damian Priest feud. People do not connect with Damian Priest as much as he could. He's not really doing anything wrong. They just don't connect with him, and people were more into Drew McIntyre than they were Damian Priest.
They haven't been connecting with him since he lost the world title, I feel like. And I feel like they've been connecting less and less after the Balor feud, and now it kind of seems like he's lost in the shuffle a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know how you get him out of it, but he's
It's unfortunate because he's so talented. I think maybe put him in, a mid-card feud for a little bit. Have him try to do that, and then kind of see where you go from there. Maybe have him have a deep run in King of the Ring.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
think that's something you could do with him. But, other than that, it's kind of tough to see where he goes from here. But again, with Drew winning, I'm excited to see what they do with Drew McIntyre.
He needed a win. All those storylines where he lost and lost and lost and lost. He finally got a win. So
that's true.
I think people will also really appreciate that.
So next one I'll be talking about the Women's Tag Team Championship match. Lyra Valkyria, what ended up being a returning Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. They had an awesome win in a very good match. Quite frankly, I think their match on Raw was better. I just want to point that out there. But, this victory was sweet, but it didn't last long, again, as we'll talk about. But it was nice to see Becky return because it was so unexpected. And, I think everybody just enjoys seeing Becky Lynch.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate for Bayley for whatever reason they did this and took Bayley out. But
I don't understand that either. But they could do stuff with Bayley down the line where again she turns on Lyra as well.
Yeah, I mean I mentioned it earlier. There's the horsewomen are not at the top right now. So what if there's an alliance?
One of them's not even there anymore.
Yeah, I mean then you'll just be asking where the CEO is, and she ain't coming. Mercedes ain't coming back.
Yeah,
anytime soon. But I think Becky was a great surprise. Them winning the titles, I think was nice, a nice moment for WrestleMania. And I think the next night, which like you said, we'll talk about a little more, was even better because all the people who call her Becky Hogan for whatever reason
don't make no damn sense.
It's so stupid. They got the titles back on Liv and Raquel, which I think is the right call because the matches they've been in, Liv Raquel tag matches get "This is awesome" chants. So keep the division around them. People like them as a team, and they're good as a team. So
Especially
made
because
the right
Liv
call.
Morgan's so good right now. Like, why would you want to ruin that?
Yeah,
She's been
she's
so
not winning
good
the
for
if she's not winning the
years.
women's title. Keep her in the tag division, and her and Raquel continue to do a great job.
She'll get another world title again. Just do this first.
I agree. I think this works for her. There's also the Intercontinental title, U.S. title, wherever they end up eventually. But
Yeah,
no,
man.
good match, good moment.
You got anything?
I think it was a good match. I agree. It was a good match.
All right. Short and sweet. The Fatal 4-Way match is next. Braun Breaker versus Penta versus Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor. Only bad thing I will say is I don't know where Penta's going after this. But Dominic Mysterio winning the title was a lot of fun. Him pinning Finn Balor to do it was even more fun. I thought Finn was going to win it. But at the same time, I'm going to enjoy listening to Dominic Mysterio talk about how he's the greatest Mysterio and the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, especially after his deadbeat dad got to miss WrestleMania. There's a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
things
no,
to celebrate from that match, and Braun Breaker didn't get pinned. He didn't get
no,
pinned to lose his title, and he's going to look stronger for it, especially with what he's doing now.
yeah. No, we saw why he didn't get pinned, but I think Penta. I guess Penta will still feud with him for a little bit. Doesn't seem like they're pulling the trigger on the Judgment Day yet. Finn seems like he's going to be planting the seeds. He is not happy. Whether other people go with him or they don't, we'll find out.
Right.
But it's a big moment for Dom, the fan, someone who was hated even like 6 months ago, 3 months ago, booed out of the arena. People just saw the hard work and the storyline was working, and they wanted to see him win the Intercontinental Championship, and he did. And now it's a great testament to him, and I'm excited to see where this one goes too.
He was getting cheered in his post-match interviews out in Vegas. I don't know if anybody saw that, but
Yeah,
yeah, no, people are gonna have fun with this for a while. So let's definitely keep it going. So after that, we have Randy Orton versus the man who ended up being Joe Hendry. And I would tell you this 10 years ago, if you thought the TNA World Champion was going to be in a match at WrestleMania, I would have laughed in your face. But we saw the TNA World Champion just appear in a WrestleMania match, and it was a nice moment. Joe Hendry got a few moves in. It wasn't a long match. Did his spot, got hit with an RKO because he was showboating, shook Randy's hand, got caught with another one. It did what it needed to do for, I think, for Joe Hendry, and it was just a nice moment, and I enjoyed it.
It's a good fight.
yeah, it was cool to see Joe Hendry get that pop, get that reaction, hear the words TNA, like you said. You would never heard that before 10,
Yeah.
15 years ago. I know I looked up 2010. If it was 2010,
Oh,
the TNA World Champion would have been Rob Van Dam versus Randy Orton, which would have been kind of funny because it just would have been another WWE match. Uh,
that would have been half decent actually.
yeah, I mean, Randy Orton's going kayfabe took Rob Van Dam out of WWE, so a little bit of continuation there would have been nice.
This was around the time when Abyss was swinging around Janice.
Yeah, and he was a Hulkamaniac, and
Then you
Eric Bischoff and them were doing Eric Bischoff things, and
Now you got John Moxley
uh,
bringing Janice back, calling it something different, getting it stuck in his back.
oh yeah, that was poor guy. I mean, hey, that's what he wanted to do. Hold on, I want to see who the TNA champion was in 2015.
I actually don't know. Maybe Eric Young.
I want to say it was like EC3 or something. Austin Aries. Okay, that's who it would have been against Randy Orton.
That would have been a slaughter.
Yeah.
Good lord.
Oh, yikes. Anyway, good for Joe Hendry. That's awesome. He seems happy with both RKOs. I didn't like that part, but he seems like he's happy with it. So whatever.
Listen, I mean, again, I enjoyed it. It was, a fun little 5-minute match. Wasn't any longer than it needed to be. It was enough.
No, it's
It was
perfect.
fine.
Perfect match. If people know his name, People already knew his name, but we'll see
Well,
where
they
it goes
didn't
for
say his
him.
name and he just appeared. I feel like he kind of betrayed his gimmick a little bit.
Somebody in the arena had to say his name,
Listen,
and it happened.
you know, say the most three dangerous letters in sports entertainment and they appear. All right? It's just out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's what
You
happened.
know, it's no different.
So I
That's
think
all.
we'll see more Joe Hendry.
I love
in
his
WWC.
I love his reaction to it. He's just over here like, good game, bro.
Well, you know,
Hey.
I'm listen. I'm just observing, listening, you know, and
He's taking it in.
taking it in.
Yeah, he
Drinking
went in
in,
hard mode.
man.
He went after one of the top guys. It's like a Street Fighter. He went for the 8-level difficulty, and he got washed. I don't know how
No,
old
that's-
you guys
that's-
are
that's
when you used to
fair.
play with the 8 stars back when you put it wasn't easy, medium, hard. It was
and
star
you
level.
just started playing.
Yeah, you're like, all right, I'm gonna take on Bison, and Bison beats you in 2 seconds, sliding all the time.
It's like when you skip parts in Pokemon because they do open world games now.
Yeah, you don't go to the right village. You're like, oh shit. The
You're like, wait,
Charizard,
I'm level
like, beat it,
15. Why is this level 50?
Yeah, you gotta go back and train up your Charizards and Pikachu's, and my personal favorite, Sandshrew. But
That's right.
yeah.
No, but the last match of WrestleMania Night 2, the main event, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. And I thought the match itself was good. I didn't think it was amazing. I didn't think it was terrible. It was a good match. It was fun to get through.
It
The
wasn't.
problem I
boring.
had with the match is the ending. It's not that Travis Scott came out. It's the fact that I'm waiting on 5 or 6 people to come out in my head
Yeah.
before I'm even thinking about Travis Scott. That's the problem that I have with the ending. It's not that Travis Scott came out. Travis Scott can still come out. There's nothing wrong with that. I would have been
just
fine
wanted
with him.
more. We just wanted more.
I would have been fine with him coming out first. But again, like you just said, I wanted more out of the ending, especially if Cody Rhodes was going to lose the title. So exactly
all that build up, it was just like for just to die out flat. You know, that's just me.
yeah.
It was great match. It was just
Yeah, it was still a history-making moment. It still got cheers. People still left happy because of it. But again,
John Cena
you know,
got his title, and now
20
Yeah,
years,
number
20, he
17.
got his
He can-
record-breaking title 20
can-
years after he got his first one.
he can ride off in the sunset. You know, as
The last real champion.
I mean, and he had to turn the heel too. You know, he had to turn heel and turn bad too.
Listen, he did a
entertain.
dance move about 10 years
And
ago
that's-
where he actually turned his heel.
He did. I remember him literally turning it to you. I did stand corrected. It was actually Kurt Angle was the champion at the time. So Randy Orton, Kurt Angle
Another
would have been
WWE
an
match.
awesome match. 2015 Kurt Angle. I don't know about 2025 Kurt Angle.
I was going to say 2015 Kurt Angle was Perk Angle.
Now,
Oh, wait,
Peak
no, it
Angle. We
wasn't.
call him
Perk-
Peak Angle now.
Perk
Whoa.
Angle was like 2010. Never mind.
Yeah, we call him Peak Angle. He does
Yeah,
not
that
like
was
to
that
be
was
called.
peak.
He does not like to call that.
and you
I
were
like that.
mentioning reasons to turn heel, and I think this was a perfect reason for Cena to turn heel and be the villain when he's always been, you know, the favorite. Has always been, you know, the people's, you know, one of the people's champions. You know, every fan favorites turned heel. Stone Cold, Rock, you know them. You know, it's kind of cool to see, you know, a legend turn heel just so he can win that 17th. You know, it
He's
was-
older. He's a step slower. You know,
And he knows it,
the
and he knows it.
Yeah,
fans-
I
And
mean,
he
they,
knows
they
it.
talked
He-
about
that
He
whole
was like-
entire fight, it was as he was sitting there like, damn, I still got it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
it was more like
Confidence started setting back in.
yeah. It was
Started turning back the clock a little bit.
it was
he
yeah.
lost, like they were saying, he lost his past seven WrestleMania matches. So he needed something. He needed a win. He has that alliance with The Rock, which we still don't know. And I think what you were saying earlier, that's what I think that was the biggest problem with the match. You were waiting from the beginning for something to happen, and usually that's on the fans. Like, oh, they're like, we never advertised that. The Rock starting this whole thing and then disappearing, just left that in your mind. So you were expecting, especially when Travis Scott came out, that the run-ins were gonna
I
happen.
thought
Travis Scott.
It
I thought
doesn't
The
even.
Rock was coming out there.
Yeah,
It doesn't even necessarily need to be The Rock though either. People were speculating on night one. Could it be Seth Rollins?
yeah. Could have
You know,
been
could
Seth
it
Rollins
be?
come out.
Could Paul
It could've
Heyman be
been-
part of this somehow? Like Paul Heyman coming out with Travis Scott would have made sense. You know, if it was Seth Rollins coming out with Travis Scott, I'd kind of be like, why is Seth Rollins out here?
Seth? I think Seth would have had to like slide in the ring with the stomp him or have like a mask and do whatever they just did with Braun Breaker.
That's why
for
I'm
him to
saying
do it,
have
but-
Travis Scott come out with Paul Heyman because that's
Exactly.
actually going to make sense. Paul Heyman is trying to get behind something powerful. You know,
Exactly.
that's typically what Paul Heyman does. So it
And
would
maybe
make
they'll
perfect
go there later, but for WrestleMania, I think you were expecting something big. Cody Rhodes, despite taking 4 AAs, just kind of getting low blowed and hit with the title. I think people were expecting a kick out, and it just didn't happen. And I think that's the only reason that.
And
fell
also
flat.
John Cena was able to beg him off so easy.
Yeah.
That's why I'm kind of saying earlier, like Cody may need to go away for a little bit and then return so people can actually get behind him.
Yeah, I think he's gonna take a little bit of time off. Cody Rhodes, we talk about anime every now and then. Cody Rhodes went for the Goku, forgiving the villain, being like, "Okay, I'll give you another chance," and then I'm not gonna cheat or I'm not gonna kill, and it backfired.
Yeah, but Goku usually ended up being okay. The Cody
Yeah,
Rhodes is not
usually.
okay right now.
Yeah, I mean, he got when Raditz did it, he got his ribs broken. I mean, it was his brother, so he tried to be nice about it, but
Yeah, man, you can't do that.
no.
But anyways, night 2, the Raw after Mania happens, and it's probably better than both nights of WrestleMania combined. You know, I was saying you can't turn Becky Lynch heel. Then she had a match. Then she loses the tag team titles. And the reason why I say she can't turn heel is because she was hanging out with her daughter at the press conference. I'm like, how are they supposed to ever turn her heel again after what we just saw? And then the next night they lose, immediately end up turning her heel. So clearly, I don't know shit.
You
know,
underestimate
I don't
the
know
power
anything
of
about
how-
what I'm talking about.
How many
Just
people
never know.
do not like children? So that's what they're thinking. So that's what they don't.
They're
buy.
trying to
Who
make
knows?
children cry.
Maybe Rue will be a heel too. Maybe their daughter will be an obnoxious heel. He teaches some bad
100%.
words, and then the whole family is just a bunch of heels together.
100%.
I do like that the fans. I mean, they were chanting one more time because that's just kind of what they do. A lot of people were not on Becky's side when she beat up Lyra. Lyra looked very sympathetic, taking those manhandle slams. I think we're gonna get a different Becky Lynch, a more aggressive, not big time Bex. with
I
the
think more
flair and-
importantly-
and all that. Yeah.
More importantly, we're going to get a different Lyra also.
No, Lyra needs
Because
this,
she
and
needed something.
I think the Intercontinental Championship needs this because I assume they'll be feuding over the Intercontinental Championship, and you need to make that title look prestigious. So whether Lyra beats Becky again, or Becky ends up winning the title,
I think
especially with her being Becky Hogan, as people like to call her.
Here's the thing. I
it'll be
want to
good.
see them feud for a while, have a few matches. I do want to see Becky eventually win because I think it would be great for her to take on newer talent and help make them look strong, help put them over, and you can insert Lyra from there into the World Championship scene.
Yeah, you
I
can
think it
move
would be a good
Lyra up.
idea.
There's still Bailey. Maybe Bailey is another person who wants to be another Grand Slam. She was a Grand Slam champion before, but wants to be the first old head, I guess, to win the Intercontinental Championship. So maybe she'll do that. Maybe she'll get involved. There's some good layers here.
Have
So
her,
we'll see what's gonna happen.
have Becky take on some newer talent first, and then have Bailey win so she can do the same thing.
Yeah,
You
can
can
switch
keep
that
that
for
going
Vita.
for a while.
we haven't seen a heel Becky and a face Bailey in a long time. So yeah,
Yeah.
since NXT days of 2014. So it'll be
Listen,
fun.
I remember there was a time where we saw a face Sasha Banks versus a heel Bailey.
Yeah.
So anything can happen. I am
Anything can
excited for face Randy Orton versus heel John Cena.
Yeah,
That's a
for
sentence
the
I
first
never
time.
thought I'd say.
Yeah.
I'm living in the Matrix just saying I'm excited for John Cena versus Randy Orton in 2025 by itself.
It's very funny because 10 years ago when that match was happening, people were like, please put me out of my misery.
Not
And
again.
now we're getting it at least one more time, and everyone's like, hell yes.
Goddamn right. No, but we got a John Cena promo. He counted down some of the dates that he had already done and the dates he has left. Gets an RKO for his trouble. We get the Becky Lynch heel turn. We get Io Sky facing off with Stephanie Vaquer, hitting probably my favorite move in all of wrestling right now. We get Roxanne Perez coming out. We get Rhea Ripley coming out. We get Julia coming out. They're probably going to have their big feud before we see Stephanie Vaquer, Io Sky go at it. I do think what'll probably happen in the future, because they're keeping Rhea close to Io Sky, is Rhea's going to take the title back at some point from Io, finally get a win over her, and then be able to, continue to ride the wave she's been riding for the last few years. Because Rhea's still over. I don't think
Rhea
that's
Ripley
died
was,
down to any extent.
we were talking about heel characters and the justification. Rhea was kind of the heel in that whole feud, but nobody cared.
Yeah.
Everybody just they wanted her in the match. They wanted to cheer her, and she's just kind of one of those people that people like to cheer even when she's in the wrong as a character. So I think she'll definitely get that title back when she gets that title back. I mean, I want Io to have a nice reign, of course.
My wife loves her because she's a goth girl. She was pulling for her at Mania. I was
That's
not
fair.
in agreement, but I was like, I understand. I understand the vibes you're going for.
No, she definitely makes a lot of people stop when you see her look and her demeanor.
Hey.
But I think her as a champion, I just think the women's division in general, without Liv and Rhea and Dom and all that stuff, like seeing where it goes without all of that, is there's a lot of potential there, and I hope they don't drop the ball with it, because you got a lot of talent.
I don't think so.
Some talent coming up from NXT eventually. I don't know when that's gonna happen, but it's exciting. It's exciting to see.
It's a good time.
Yeah,
But
it's a good problem to have all that talent. Just use it.
Penta
Natalia's out here beating people up in
That's
indie
right.
shows.
Penta took on Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental title. I'm just glad this didn't end, a day after like the tag team title reigns did. JD McDonough came back. Things are looking up for the Judgment Day right now. I'm curious to see if they'll actually put anything around Finn Balor's waist. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I think, we're going to figure that out at some point. But it was nice to see JD McDonough back.
After that injury, it's good to see him back. Especially, he could have died. They were saying it was a really bad injury.
Yeah.
So it's good to see him healthy again. I think they're
all
going
that
to try
matters.
and go for the tag titles, exactly. And I think they're going to fail. I think Finn and JD are going to fail, even if it's a heel New Day feud.
What I'm thinking, they could add a trios title.
Oh, they have so many titles already.
I mean, I don't know who they would face for it, but
the LWO over and over again. I mean, you can just make trios. It's not that hard. Actually, it is hard.
It might be hard
AEW.
because of who they have currently.
Mm.
That's the only reason I think it would be hard. You'd have to put together a lot of NXT tag teams and trios that you've broken.
It would have to be interbrand. So then you'd have like Jimmy J, Sammy as a team. You'd have Judgment Day with Carlito. You'd have Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and whoever NXT people. Like you said, I don't know, Hank Tank and those guys. I think they had to focus on the titles they have now. I mean, the women's U.S. title was not defended at WrestleMania, nor was the Intercontinental. So let's.
How can you do Chelsea
now.
like that, man? The shortest, longest, fastest, slowest, shortest reigning Women's United States champion of all time.
I thought that was unfortunate. Yeah, I think people have a lot of gripes with Triple H. I don't like that people who are in their hometown don't get to show out for the people that are there. I don't like that. Man. I don't like that they don't put people on the card. I mean, I know that people find a battle royal cheesy or whatever, but put them in a fucking battle royal. Like, they work hard all year. Like, it's not like people are just sitting on their ass. They're on the show. Yeah. You're writing it, so like you're writing them sitting on their ass. It's not their fault. So just give them that
Facts.
WrestleMania payday, unless all the stuff now they do over the weekend because they are stacked through that weekend. Maybe that's where their pay comes from now. I don't know. I don't know how any of that works,
I
but
gotta
it just sucks.
I gotta try to figure out how to watch that WrestleMania roast. That's what I gotta do.
Things are coming out from it. It's interesting. Like people were saying, Paul Heyman went all. I mean, I have
Oh
never
yeah,
heard an angry Gabriel Iglesias before, but mission accomplished.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
Like
they
I want
pissed off
somebody to
Fluffy.
break up a Fluffy fight.
He was gonna swing. It seemed like he was not happy from the clip that went in there.
You're gonna be watching that, right?
What
The
roast?
WrestleMania roast.
Hell yeah! If I
Best
can,
thing
if
since
I
the
can
roast
find
of
it-
Tom Brady.
Exactly. Someone's gonna leak it. People are gonna keep leaking it. It's wrestling
yeah.
fans. That's what they do. I think WWE secretly wants it to be leaked a little bit.
Yeah, why
Just so
not?
they could,
Just
like, just to
slowly
be like-
before
It's
they
good
release
publicity. It's good publicity.
it. Yeah,
You know,
100%.
Twitter's gonna blow their heads off because that's just kind of what they do. They get mad about everything.
Yeah,
But
that's why they promoted it, though. You know.
yeah. I mean, say what you want about Kill Tony, but the WrestleMania roast was.
Oh, the guy's
was it.
hilarious.
Yeah, a lot of people like him. I'm gonna.
You just probably shouldn't do stand up during a presidential rally.
100%.
That's all I
Yeah.
would say.
I can't stand him.
Yeah.
No, but last
I'm playing the more political side.
Yeah, man.
But yes.
Last thing we're gonna talk about, because we're already over on time. I got the signal from Ruben. So then we had, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns continue their fight. CM Punk tried to go after Paul Heyman. So did Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns actually almost got him. He Superman punched him. He made it look like he was going to spear him. And then the person joining Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman is Braun Breaker. He is the equalizer in all of this. And Braun Breaker just got launched into another stratosphere after this move. Him being a Paul Heyman guy, Seth Rollins allowing Paul Heyman to take other clients, and Seth Rollins being able to kind of control who comes in, who comes out, who does what. This, I think, is so genius, and it's going to be such a nice twist on what they're trying to do, because I feel like they tried this after Brock Lesnar broke the Undertaker streak, and it just didn't work.
Yeah,
I
it
feel
fell
like,
flat with Cesaro and them.
Yep, making Braun Breaker the next Paul Heyman guy and attaching that to him, because he's really Brock Lesnar back in 2002. He could do all the things that Brock Lesnar did. He's probably just as strong. He's faster than Brock Lesnar was, in my opinion. So, I mean, if you're going to make somebody the next Paul Heyman guy and have join this, I think Braun Breaker makes the most sense.
No, I agree with you. I think Braun Breaker was a perfect addition. You finally kind of know where he aligns because he was kind of like in the middle for a bit. People were cheering him there, even though he was a heel, but he wasn't a heel. Him being that heavy for Seth Rollins and just also clearly the next up. I mean, he speared Roman Reigns, like really speared Roman Reigns. So like they're really like putting him onto the next level. Like you said, Seth could focus on his own things. It's different because Roman, and it's also that contrast there. Roman wanted Paul to just be with him. Seth does not care about other clients. Seth Rollins gives Paul Heyman that trust. So there's a contrast there. Will there be more members? Will there be Becky turn heel too? Maybe there'll be women in this new alliance. Maybe it'll just be a whole conglomerate that Paul Heyman has.
No, we don't know.
Which would be cool to see. So I assume Roman's gonna be gone for a little bit. He takes his time off. I think CM Punk may or may not take a week or two. I think CM Punk's gonna be there more than Roman. But Raw is really, they have reset. Whatever you did about WrestleMania 41, forget it. They've reset. And they're starting new storylines because that's what they do. Also, Rusev is back.
Yeah, no. I can't believe I was almost going to forget about that. But, I mean, they're having him start with Otis, which I think is going to be kind of a good starting point for him. I'm interested to see what they do with Rusev. But, that'll kind of probably be the starting point, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, no, you have another person that you can build up to potentially face Jey Uso, because Jey Uso's gonna need some opponents.
Yeah,
it can't just be Gunther. So Rusev is taking out everybody. He's gonna have to
Oh, he's
fight
gonna
Jay
be taking
eventually.
on monsters this whole title reign. Drew McIntyre, Rusev.
All the meat matches are coming back. Sheamus.
Yeah, no, put Sheamus in a world title match. I would love to see Jey Uso versus Sheamus.
Yeah, Sheamus needs something. He's another guy that missed WrestleMania. And you're like, oh, he lost all that weight. Like, that's not fair.
Yeah, why are you doing that to this man?
Poor guy.
After that burger after burger after burger.
Yeah, he
promo.
came back chubby and he lost the weight.
He came back so strong from that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have. I'm a comic. I would have left.
Yeah, man. But anyways, that is all the time that we have for you guys today. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, subscribe to the show. Again, we're getting close to 7,300 subscribers. Kyle, Ralph, thank you both for coming on to talk about Mania.
It's a pleasure.
100% appreciate it.
Time.
Would love to have you back on. Definitely make sure you stick around because Ruben cuts off the mics a little bit before we go off the air, so just give him 1 second. But once again, thank you both for coming on. Really, really appreciate it. Next Tuesday will be the 5th Tuesday of the month, so we will not be on next week. We will resume the following week with the next show. So make sure you guys look out for us 2 weeks from now on HamiltonRadio.net. This is Hot Tag Takes. I am your host, John BRECKO. We out, ya.
We out.